Hi there, it's Nancy Knight. I'm here with an active learning attribute tray activity about items from the natural world. And I have collected an attribute tray, which is a plastic container from my kitchen, full of items from the natural world that we can explore together. The natural world is full of beautiful and interesting items, and sometimes the best way to get to know more about them is to bring them really close and explore them, look at them, touch them, maybe even smell them. What we don't want to do with any of these items is taste them or put them in our mouth. I've chosen items that are safe, but even so, these are items that we're going to explore with our eyes and our hands and our sense of smell. And I hope that you can enjoy these items and that they will give you some ideas about things that you can find around where you live and explore items from the natural world. So the first category of items that we're going to explore are items from plants. And the scientific name for the study of items from plants is botany. So our first topic is botany. I have, wow, my first item is a bunch of lilacs from the bush outside my house. These are such a beautiful purple color and they smell heavenly. They are perfuming the whole room. If you look at them closely, you can see that the lilac is made of many, many, many little tiny flowers all together growing in a bunch. Can you see them up close? And that's why they look like a big cushion or puff of flowers. The leaves are green, heart-shaped. What a delicious smelling plant. I'm going to set my lilacs aside. Another green plant that I brought to look at with you is a little maple branch. This maple branch has new leaves that are growing in many different sizes. Here's a larger leaf, and here at the top, you can see that there's a very, very, very tiny leaf forming. I'm going to bring this closer so that you can see all the different sizes of maple leaves. The leaves are very soft and tender because they're newly grown. My next item is a branch of dried up pine needles. I found this in my driveway, and usually pine needles are green, but these were a really pretty brown. They're soft and fringy. I love how they move. When people say pine needles, sometimes people think that they're sharp. You know, they're not really sharp, at least not this kind of pine needle. I'm going to bring it closer so you can take a better look. Those are the pine needles. Well, to go along with pine needles, I have a collection of pine cones. Look at this enormous pine cone. It's very, very round. It's huge. Here's one that's long. It's still a pine cone. You can see many common features with these two pine cones. They're spiral. They have these petals that come off of them where the seeds form. Wow, I'm going to put my enormous one down, show you a medium-sized one. Look at these pine cones. They're similar, but they're different. They have some similar features that are fun to explore. I'm going to bring them closer. You can see how the petals come out of them in a spiral. Maybe you can see inside where the seeds form. That's really cool. I'm going to put my pine cones aside. And here's another really interesting item. It's a piece of bark, the bark of a tree. We often talk about the bark of a tree, but how often do we really get to feel it and look at it and explore it? It's extremely textured and bumpy, kind of rough. I'm going to bring it closer so you can take a better look. The bark of a tree. The next item I have, it's a bunch of sage leaves, and these smell so good. Sage is an herb that you can use in cooking, and this is a beautiful bunch of sage. Such a pretty grayish green color, and it smells so good. There are the sage leaves. Well, we are finished with our botany and our items from the plant kingdom. Now we're going to examine items from the animal kingdom. Now, the study of animals is called zoology, and I found some items in my house that come from animals. I don't have any live animals to show you, but I can show you some interesting things that come from animals. The first item that I have is a very, very long feather. Whoa. I found this outside. I'm not really entirely sure what kind of a feather this is. Maybe you know. You can take a look at it up close. See the beautiful patterns. The feathers come from birds. This must have come from a very large bird. I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure. This large feather, I know, comes from a turkey. This is a turkey feather, and it's got white at the tip. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but it has white at the tip and brown and black. Here it is up close. And when you look up close, you can see that a feather is made up of many tiny, tiny little strands. Two large feathers from birds. Wow, aren't they beautiful? Next, from the animal kingdom, I have some seashells. And yes, all of these seashells once had a little animal living in them. And seashells are amazingly varied. Here are some seashells. These seashells did not come from a beach where I found them. These I purchased because they're so beautiful. Some seashells. This one you can see the spiral shape, round and around and around. This one is speckled. I've got some more seashells to show you because they're so interesting. This one is kind of bumpy and striped. Look at the stripes and colors on that. And if you turn it around, you can see the opening where the sea creature once lived, inside of there. Here's a shell that maybe once looked like that, but I found on the beach and it got worn away by the water. And so now it's just a part of a seashell, but it's very beautiful and you can still see that spiral shape. What a beautiful shape. This kind of shell is different. It's more like an oyster or a clam. And usually there are two halves and a little creature lives inside there. Very beautiful. You can see the stripes on it and feel that. So beautiful. Another item that I have from animals is it's a trumpet made from a ram's horn. Isn't that cool? Back in the olden days, people made trumpets out of ram's horns. And you can see the beautiful shape of that and the way the horn is formed. It's almost translucent. The light goes through it. What a beautiful shape, the ram's horn. Then I have a little piece of beeswax in the honeycomb shape that bees make when they're putting together their hive and getting a place ready for making honey. They form the wax into little octagonal shapes, and you can see them there. The bees did that all by themselves. That's beautiful, and that also smells really good. Beeswax has a good smell. Well, we're finished with our topics from the animal world, and now we're going to minerals and rocks. And this, I guess, is the field of geology and mineralogy. And I have a collection of rocks and minerals. Maybe you do too. And I'll start with one of my favorite rocks. It's a gray stone with a white stripe right down the middle. There it is. That's so cool. You can even feel where the white stripe is. And this beautiful gray rock with a stripe. This rock, you can see all the different kinds of minerals that are in there. It's like a conglomeration of different colors. This rock is one of my favorites because it's shaped like a heart-shaped rock. Here's an amethyst crystal. It's this beautiful purple color, and you can see how the crystals shine in the light. There are the amethyst crystals. Here are some quartz crystals. They're more of a clear color, and look at how tall they are, growing up out of the base of the crystal. I hope you can get a good look at that. And crystals form often inside a rock formation called a geode. This is a geode, and if you look carefully, I hope you can see the crystals inside this geode. Very, very interesting how that forms. Well, we've taken a wonderful look at items from nature today. I'm going to put them back into my attribute tray. I hope you've had a good time looking at these interesting items. I hope you can find some interesting items around your home and yard to examine up close and see if you can learn more about the natural world. Well, thank you. Goodbye, and see you next time.